Gods of Egypt is a film directed by Alex Proyas and stars Gerard Butler, Nicolas Coster-Waldau, and Chadwick Boseman, and is a story set in ancient Egypt where gods are living among the mortals, one of which is about to take the Covenant spot as the King of Egypt. When Set, played by Gerard Butler, shows up and decides to challenge his nephew for the crown. A huge battle ensues and the next thing you know, a mortal ends up teaming up with the dethroned god in order to save the world and save his love from... Oh my god, I can't do this. I can't do this. This movie is ridiculous. I'm not gonna sit here and try to be serious with this review, because there's not a single moment in this movie that you can take seriously. I mean, this movie is so bad, it's Wicker Man level bad. This has got to be the best unintentional comedy of 2016. So far. I gotta throw that out there because we got a couple more CGI shitstorm movies coming with Warcraft and Independence Day Resurgence. So, we might not be done yet. But as of right now, this is going to be the front runner for the Razzies Best Comedy of the Year. I don't think it was even a surprise that this movie was going to be terrible. I saw the trailers and I was just dreading the moment that I was going to go into theaters and actually see this movie. People's reaction to The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. People were saying, oh, this is such a bad movie. There's so much CGI. It ruins the movie. So why in the world do we have a movie that's entirely CG? There's not a single scene in this movie that's not taking place behind a green screen. But it would have been okay if the CG was actually decent. But it wasn't. I mean, the director of this movie was clearly on drugs when he was doing this movie. There's no way you come up with something like this. It's just listen to some of the things that you're gonna see in this movie. We got huge flying beetles pulling chariots. We got deadly scorpions made of gold. We have gods bleeding gold blood. The gods themselves are 2 times taller than the mortals. We got giant fire-breathing snakes. And a god stealing other gods' organs to make a Frankenstein super mega ultra god. On top of which, we got a goddess who can seduce anything that isn't in love. In which one scene, we have the goddess seducing this giant freaking snake. Snake seducing. And gods turning into robotic creatures with wings. And Jeffrey Rush going Super Saiyan while holding a spear that shoots fire. Oh my god, what a disaster. What a disaster. I cannot believe I have seen this movie. It exists. It exists. I can finally say that to someone. How is this movie out there? Everything I just mentioned is all CG. So what room does that actually leave the movie to not use CGI? Oh yeah, that's right. None. So who cares if the movie's shot in Australia, for crying the frick out loud? Well, you don't see any of it. You might as well have shot in my frickin' backyard. Now let's talk about the acting. Oh wait, that's right, there's no acting in this movie. So let's get to the actual story of the film. What was the actual point of the story? Could have sworn that that one god couldn't transform into that robotic flying creature because he didn't have the strength to become the creature again. I guess he had a couple of Energizer batteries on him because by the end of the movie, somehow, he just can transform. Somehow he learns how to. What about that whole thing about not being able to talk to the dead? And does the goddess of love have the capability of talking to the dead? One minute they tell us you can't talk to the dead. Next thing you know, goddess of love's talking to the dead. Why the goddess of love? I don't frickin' know. Goddess of love talks to the dead. Alright. How about bringing people back to life from the dead? The movie says it's impossible to do. I'm not just saying that it's impossible to do. The movie said it was impossible to do. They say it like 3 times, if not more. But obviously Jeffrey Rush has been keeping it a secret from everyone else. The sun god has the capability of bringing people back to life. There we go again, with gods being given abilities that they don't even have. Those Puritans in the movie The Witch were praying to the wrong god. Because in this movie, every god can do anything. The whole entire movie, they're walking around cluelessly thinking, how am I gonna get this done? Oh, yeah, well, wait a minute. I can bring people back to life. Here, get your life back. The end. Now look, as much as this film is an atrocity, especially looking at the budget of this film, this movie has an $140 million budget. Compared to a Deadpool movie with a $58 million budget. This movie is just comedic tears. The film is hilarious when it doesn't intend to be hilarious. The movie has a couple of lines where you're, I guess, supposed to laugh. But no one ever laughs. The theaters is just like dead silent. But when we get to like an intense, dramatic point of the movie, everyone's busting out laughing because we got random things happening like frickin' gigantic fire-breathing snakes. Yes, you are watching this movie. When did this turn into another Anaconda sequel? I think the director was like, what would happen if we combine Anaconda, the Scorpion King, 300, and Yu-Gi-Oh! In one frickin' movie? So, gather your friends, go see this movie so you can laugh. Because if you don't laugh, you're gonna kill yourself because this movie is that bad. But if you go in thinking this is a comedy, you will get through it. Because this movie is 2 hours and 7 minutes long. So not only is the budget bigger, but the movie's longer. If you ever see this movie, just know that you are accomplishing something. This is an accomplishment. The fact that you were watching this movie, this needs to go on your resume. Like, I feel like that's it just does. Like, the minute employers look at your resume, they're like, oh my god, this guy's been through a lot. He just saw Gods of frickin' Egypt. This movie is just comedic gold. Literally, this movie is gold. Everything in this movie has to be gold. Did anyone notice that? Why are there gold scorpions? How does that work? How did gods get gold blood exactly? Why aren't people like stabbing these gods so they start bleeding out gold blood and like start selling gold and becoming rich or something? Because that seems like that's the solution for all their problems. Why are all these people living in poverty? We got fucking gods walking around full of gold. And if you're thinking, well, how exactly are we gonna stab gods? One of them is freaking blind. He's got a fucking eye patch on. This movie is an absolute joke. Therefore, I'm gonna give Gods of Egypt an F. Yeah. I can't give it an F. I gotta give it an F+. I mean, this movie was hilarious. I gotta give it credit for something. I sat through it. I didn't leave the theater. That's the new grading system. If the movie is so bad, it's good, it gets an F+. Alright guys, that is my review of Gods of Egypt. Did you see this movie? Are you going to see this movie? If you have seen this movie, what were your thoughts on this monstrosity? Comment that below in the comment section. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content. And I'll see you guys next time for more unboxings, reviews, and movie news.